Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm getting ready for a trip going 875 miles from here, Kenansville, to Islamorada in the Florida Keys. And whenever you're going on a long trip, wheels is a big thing. But if you look right here, I used to have brakes bolted right here and right there. This trailer is 12 years old. So I have recently replaced the hubs themselves, and new hubs, new bearings, new seals, new cap, and on all four of them. Actually, I did that last year. And but my truck is a 350 GMC, and it's got plenty of weight, plenty of stopping power without a little 2,500 pound boat, which is a 21-foot sea hunt, without it causing a problem on stopping. So when my brakes got rusted out, I decided to just take them off. And so, I mean, they've been in and out of salt water, like I say, for 12 years. And I just didn't want to spend the money to put new ones on. But I did put the new hubs on, new bearings, and all. So now that we've got that done, I've had my tires mounted on these new rims, and I'm going to put them on right quick. All right, one of the first things you want to do before you go put a tire on is these threads right here. They need a little anti-seize on them, which will allow them not to rust and freeze up. And also, when you're backing it into waters, in that salt water, you know, it's possible a little bit of water can seep in. And if you got it, the little areas where it can seep in at, full of some type of grease, anti-seize like this, I mean, chances are you won't get your salt water in between your nuts and your studs. So coating them up good like that right there, and then you'll be ready to put a tire on. All right, one of the first things you got to do, you take these new rims, and you have to buy these separate, these center hub inserts here. You can buy different ones, black ones. This is a chrome black on it, but they'll go in on the tire and they'll fit right there. But you got to slide them in from the inside of your wheel, and actually they fit rather good and neat right there. And then just spin the tire around and pop it up there. Okay, took a little work. Also took 2 hands. I could have used 3, but got one of them on. Now I'm going to put some anti-seize on these threads here and mount the other one. Let me tell you, this is not an easy job. It is for maybe, you know, younger fella, but I got that one on there. You know, we got the new lugs look better. Look at these old lug nuts right here. They're all rusted up right there, and I got these new ones here, putting them on. I got one started. Now they're fairly easy, but you know, they're still hard to get started sometimes because the nuts are so slick. But just as soon as I got it started there, I'm good with that. Come down here and find you another one. I got the top one on and just ran it up. You sure don't want to over tighten anything until you get them all coming up together. So get that started like that. Got one more. Good deal. All right. Now I'm gonna get my wrench here, and this is a 3/8 inch impact socket here from Milwaukee, and don't do it with a 1/2 inch. Don't do it with a 1/2 inch, and the reason why, because you can break off your studs. Just as soon as it bumps up, I stop and try to get them all up. All right, now we're going to go around them one more time. Tight enough. Even with this wrench with that big battery, you don't want to hold it too long. Just give it a few short bursts. You can tell when it gets tight. All right, that's it right there. All right, so this side is done. And let me tell you something, a little secret here. Of course, I'm on concrete here, but it doesn't matter. You know, I got dirt on the concrete. But when you're doing this work, make sure you lay your nuts up here on your fender, somewhere on your frame of your boat or something, tailgate of your truck, because you don't want grit, fine sand in them threads, or you will mess them up. Trust me, I've done it before. When you're taking them off, be careful not to drop them down in the dirt if you're doing it on dirt or in the grass, whatever. And it'll go a lot better for you down the road, and longevity of your hubs, your threads and all would be so much better just to keep the dirt out of them. And like I said, use this anti-seize right here. Just buy it at your local hardware store, anti-seize, and put that on your threads every time you take them off and put them back on. So I actually did my jacking work here with a forklift. We're here at the shop and got a forklift, so that come in mighty handy. So I'm gonna let this side down and start working on the other side. All right, we're going to move the forklift to the other side. So can we get that side jacked up? Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. That versus what I had over here. Let's see that. Y'all haven't seen that yet. Wheels right there. All right. So I'll slip over here. Okay. Alrighty. Now we'll take these off. Let me tell you, these tools right here, they do make nice work out of it. I mean, just zip them right off, slide it right up there. There you go. And like I said, I don't want to drop these, so I'm gonna just lay them right up here on the fender. And you know, you don't have to have any cord, no air hoses. And this is a super strong wrench anyway, especially for these sides bolts and nuts. So let me lay the camera down and I'll zip them right off. What do you think? Got those rims. They can be polished and cleaned up, granted, but it didn't have a center wheel cover and all. And the wheels on my truck, as you'll see a little bit later, they're black and got kind of the same, you know, the blockhead triangle in the rim pattern. So I think they'll look a lot better than what I've got, like I say. And it would take a lot of work to clean them up, and you'd never be that right there. So I got the nuts off of them. Should be able to just come right here with one hand, pull them right off, lay it down, come here to get the other one. Just pull it, one hand slides right off. Now I'm gonna keep these two right here as spares. I actually did not have a spare. on the boat. Last time well, every time. I've been down to the Keys pulling this boat 6 times. And haven't carried a spare yet, but that's pushing your luck. And that's rather foolish, but first time I went, I thought I was in good shape. I just didn't know no better or didn't think about it. So excited about getting down there. But after I went the first time, then I put new tires on. Did not replace my hubs, but I had hub problems. One of my hubs went bad, and actually all I had to do was take the center hubcap off and tighten the nut up a little bit. It just was a little bit too loose. And but when I got back, I put all new hubs and bearings on it, seals and all. So let me get these tires stuck on here and we'll see what it looks like. All right, I've done that little prep work right there. Got the anti-siege on the studs, my tire, one right there, one right here. Then I got my 2 center caps there. Well, this is a 3-hand job, and so I'm gonna lay the camera down and get these put on. Okay, let's get them all started. Okay, I'll get this one tight. Let me tell you a must do. All right, it doesn't matter whether you still got the old tires, the old rims on it, or not even changing anything. But when you get it jacked up, where both tires can spin, grab a hold of the top of the tire and wiggle it back and forth. If you hear a bump, 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 that means your bearing is separating from your race inside the hub housing. And right here we got absolutely nothing. And but now you can just tighten them up and help it out a little bit, like I did coming back from the Keys one time. It got me home, but it was not a fix. So anytime you got some bumping back and forth, plan on replacing your races and your bearings. And it's just about as cheap and easy. If you figure your time for anything at all, go ahead and just buy the whole new hub assembly. And so that's what I did, instead of trying to beat out the races. And that'll keep you from having bearing problems down the road. Now this is something probably needs to be done, change your bearings, depending on how much you pull it, you know, but me pulling 1,750 miles on this one trip I'm fixing to take, probably something you should do every 2 years anyway. This will start my 2nd year on these hubs here, and they're still tight. They roll good, you know. They're not too tight. The theory behind, after you get your bearings in and you tighten up your end nut on the end of your axle, get it kind of snug, don't over tighten it, but then back off a 1/4 of a turn, and then look for the hole in the axle that you can put the carter key back in your notched nut to keep the nut from moving back and off or tightening up anymore. And then you should be good. So anyway, I'm gonna move on. I got the tires put on. I'm gonna put the forklift up and we'll get it put back in the shelter. I got a few things I've got to go over, especially on my boat trailer here, and I want to share that with you. One of the first things when you're hooking up the boat, make sure you get it a little bit make sure it's level, but I like to put it on the high side, and I'm gonna get my hitch in place and show you that. I think I've got the proper height right there. And my lights plugged in. I haven't got my safety chains hooked up yet, but I'm just a temporary thing here. I'm gonna unhook it in just a minute. But I want to show you when you get your boat hooked up, you know, make sure your lights are working. But the number one thing, you know, are your tires. And we'll show you something about the tires in just a second. These are my 2 spare tires that I carry with me. And I'm going to show you something on these tires right here. If you look right close to the rim, you see that DOT? You see there's a DOT sign stamped on it. And you come over here, you see them numbers right there, 24, 22. And that 24 means it's the 24 week. It's the 24th week in the year 2022. So, you know exactly what week these tires are made. Now, I just recently bought 2 new tires, and they were 2024 tires. I didn't have any yet in 2025. But if a tire gets to be 7 years old or older, it starts dry rotting on the casing. And you'll come right here and you can look on the sidewalls, because like I say, these are new tires, so it's not going to have any dry rotting on them, but after 7 years, they'll start showing sign of cracking, and they just won't hold up. So don't check your numbers on your tires and make sure you got some tires that's 7 years old or newer. Don't try to go down there with no 10-year-old tire, because it ain't gonna work out for you. All right, so that's one thing about the tires. So I think that's the most important thing, is make sure you have good tires. Next thing are your hubs. You know, I've recently replaced my hubs here, and you can, and I'll show you right now in a few minutes, just jack it up and shake the wheel, and see if you got any play in those bearings. But you got to make sure your bearings and hubs are in good shape, your tires are in good shape, and your brakes. Now, one thing on my boat doesn't weigh but about 2,500 pounds. And after repeated use, my boat and trailer are 12 years old. My brakes rusted all to pieces. So instead of spending a lot of money to have them replaced, I just took them off. And so I'm pulling this trailer, and I'm not going to advise that at all, but I'm pulling my trailer here with no brakes on the trailer. But I've got a big enough truck. This is a 350 GMC, and it's got enough weight to it, pulling power, stopping power, to handle this boat with no problem, without any brakes. But normally speaking, you know, if you're evenly matched on boat and truck, then, you know, you want to make sure your trailer brakes are working. And so we're talking about the hubs. I want to walk you right over here and show you something. I carry me an extra hub when I go on my trips to Florida. And I've been there, I've pulled the boat down there 6 or 7 times in the last 2 years. So I've got an extra hub right there with the bearings in it. And I got some grease to grease up the bearings, what they call packing the bearings. Got some motor oil here and some wipes. And this actually got me a pair of gloves, so if it happens on the side of the road, I can put the gloves on. Got some rags here. So, you know, you may not need it, but it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So I always put that in the body of the truck. Here's another thing. A lot of you may not know how to pack a bearing and change the bearings on the hub. But you call somebody on the side of the road, a road service can come help you out. They're going to come here and say, yeah, your bearing's gone. But here's the thing. They can't help you if they don't have the bearing. They don't have the right hub to match your tire. So you need to have these things for them to fix it for you. Whether you fix it yourself or somebody else fixes it for you. You need at least one spare on your hub deal. Of course, I know I've got good hubs. I don't anticipate needing that at all, but it's just a backup plan. And if I was just carrying my boat down to Topsail for a 50-mile trip, I wouldn't carry a spare with me. I mean, there's good tires, new tires, I would leave the spares at home. But I had these 2 tires. Now they're the old rims. I just put those other rims on the trailer. These are the old rims, but tire size and all that's the same. So I'm gonna carry both of these tires with me when I go. So let me turn the lights off in here. See if I can see those lights on that trailer and see how it's looking at night. Don't have excess amount of lights like I would like for it to have. But one thing I did do, I come here and I put reflectors there, and on the on my stanchion poles there, I put reflectors there for car lights to hit those, and I'll show you those in the light. You know, I tried to get something to match up to my rims on my truck, and it's got that kind of a angular shape, block angular shape, and that's the closest thing I could find on the trailer, on the boat trailers. So, but that looks pretty good. But here, I was telling you about these reflectors here. Although you see nothing in the regular light, when a car comes behind you, you certainly see it. All right, and the other, you got your tires is number 1, your hubs I think are number 2, your brakes would be number 3 if you need them, and I don't have them, but that would be the 3rd most important. Number 4 would be tying down your boat. To tie from here straight down to here, it would have been in the way of my trim tab, so that wasn't an option, so I have to cross and go from one side to the other. So I got that tied down in the back there, and then naturally on the front, I always have this safety chain right here in case this breaks. Now after 12 years, last year my winch strap broke, but I put a new one on it, and so I know my winch strap is new and good. So, but still, I'll still put the safety chain on it, because if it does break, you don't want the boat to slide off backwards. So you want to secure your boat down good on the trailer, and make sure you're hooked up. Now make sure you get a pin in this right here to keep this from popping up, and make sure you hook these safety chains up right here. They just pop right in, and of course mine coil back, and so but they recommend you actually to crisscross them, but I don't crisscross those. I just put them straight up there. I think the most important thing is to have them hooked up. So anyway, that's 4 of them. I'm going to show you the rest of the things I think you need when you're traveling a long trip like we're going to travel. Let me show you something else you're going to need. In the Florida Keys, there's no parking. So the chances are you're not going to park your trailer where you're parking your truck at night. So when you do find a spot, you need to make sure you have some of these right here. This is a new one that hadn't been used yet. This is the one I used for the last 2 years. And they just go on your hitch, lock in, got a key here. And so it make it difficult to take that off, you know, unless you had the proper tools and to secure your boat at night. You also can grab, if you still want to do some securing after that, you can, they make these cables, rubber coated cables, and you can go around your rim and around your trailer frame, and with a locking system there to help secure it. I never do that. For the most part now, the Florida Keys are, it's not Miami. I mean, I wouldn't trust a whole lot in Miami from being safe. So, but in the Keys, you know, everybody tells me, in my experience for the last couple of years has been that, you know, we leave the trailer on the side of the road and kind of in a well-lit area. There's other boat trailers out there. We leave our boat trailer right there and have never had a problem with it. So that's one thing you got to think about though when you go down there is what you're going to do with your trailer and how you're going to secure it. I wanted to show you this. We're right here at the shop area, the warehouse part, and on through there the fuel tanks and goes on to Pickett Pond. But right here, we've got these two 30-foot bays enclosed. And of course we use this area to get inside, close the door, you know. Of course, we got the big shop behind us to work on the farm equipment also. We mainly just use this for our boats. This is my little 21-foot sea hunt normally stays right here. And this is Paul's boat. It's, I believe it's a 22 model. He's had it a couple of years, but it makes it so nice. When in the wintertime in North Carolina, you got 6 months, you can't use the boat. But it makes it so nice to have a place to come in and store it to get it out of the weather without having to put a canvas over it. These are some of the older jet skis I got. They both run good, but I keep them out of the weather. So we're fortunate to have this area to kind of work out of with our boats and stuff. And there's all our little supplies, whatever, life jackets, you name it, lights for the trailer. Paul's got some of his fishing stuff over here, power cords. So I just want to show you that. All right, guys, we've left the boathouse where the boat and trailer was, and we're in the shop, back in the garage here at my house. And so we talked about the boat trailers, tires, we talked about the brakes, and we talked about the wheel hubs and, you know, carrying a spare hub. But, you know, in order to change the tire, you've got to get it off the ground. So now we got to talk about how we're going to get it off the ground. Well, obviously, it's going to be a jack. So actually, I purchased this little bottle jack right here. About as good as anything. But when you use a bottle jack, make sure you get some 2x6 boards or either 2x8s, but 2x6s are fine. Cut one about 3 foot long, cut one about 2 foot long, and cut one about 1 foot long. And you can stair step them on the ground actually and pull the trailer up on, kind of form a ramp with them, pull the trailer up on them, and you may not even need a jack. But if you do need a jack, it may be too short. You may want to check the jack for your height and put a block down on the ground so that you don't want to jack the jack directly on the dirt because it'll sink in the dirt. So put one of your boards down, maybe 2 of them down to get some height on it. And you might want to carry a little 4x4 block if your trailer is a little higher off the ground. So you got to have a jack to get off the ground. And then when you do that, you got to have a way to get tire off. So what I'm going to do, this right here is a 3/8, and it's plenty big enough. Like I say, if you use a 1/2 inch, I think it's an overkill for small trailer tires like I got. 3/8 here. Batteries are charged up. Make sure they're charged up. And here's a set of sockets. 3/8 for it fits that 3/8 gun. Don't get confused if you got multiple guns. Don't bring the 1/2 inch sockets and the 3/8 gun or vice versa. See, we got a 1/2 inch gun too. So make sure you get your 3/8 gun, a set of sockets, and that gets the tire off, and that gets it jacked up, and then you can change the tire. So that would be a high priority there. Another thing you got to think about on a road trip, what if I ran over a nail, poked a hole in this tire right here? Well, the quick and easiest fix is a tire repair kit with a little plunger. But even if you got that, you're going to have a way to pump some air. And I know I got a lot of Milwaukee stuff here, but I swear they make some good stuff. But this is a little air compressor here. This hose comes off, screws onto the valve stem, and you can take a battery and put it right in here and slide it in, pop. But you just sit right here and program the amount of air you want in it. Just hold that down. If you want 40 pounds of air, you screw that on, and then you hit this inflate button, and it inflates it up to 40 pounds, and when it gets to 40 pounds, it shuts itself off. So that's beautiful. You know, you don't have to have the tire gauge to constantly check and see what you got. You know, you want to put 35 pounds in it, there you go. And, you know, we've actually used this on irrigation pivot tire. And these tires are small tractor tires, you know, but they still stand 4 foot high. But when you need air in a tire like that, we towed it all the way out in the cornfield, easy to tow, you know, just, it doesn't weigh much of anything. But just put the hose on it, plug it up, turn it on, and it inflates anything, you know. This is a little nicer than some of the little small handhelds that's come out now, so make sure you carry that with you. I'll show you what a tire kit looks like. So I already have a few things in the truck from where I made my last trip. And here is a tire kit. Let me bring it out here to light. A tire kit. Here you go. There you go, right there. It's got some little plugs here and something to put in the hole first. Just cut any wire that may be in there, cut it out, and then you run your little plug through there and plug your tire. Just watch a video on it and it'll show you how to do it, but make sure you have one of these. And but that'll come in handy for you. One more thing you gotta have, this thing may happen at night, you're gonna need a flashlight. Ain't no doubt about it, you're gonna need a flashlight. So get a flashlight, maybe 2 of them, maybe something that stands along with a power drill or something, battery or something. So you'll need a night light. I always carry, another thing I always carry is a strap. Haven't had to use it, but this one's rather heavy duty. It's a 3-inch by 30 foot there. So, and the reason I carry that, you know, maybe not so much for me, but maybe for me, I also carry a couple D-rings. And what this allows me to do is if you're putting your boat in the water and you back too far and your trailer falls off the end of the concrete, sometimes you can't get your truck out. But if another guy was there to help you with the pull, could help pull you out, then he said, well, I'd love to help you, buddy, but I don't have a chain, you know. So be prepared and be able to help someone else more than likely, or at least or help yourself, you know. So a strap and a couple of D-rings would be very handy. I also bring extra straps right here. I don't know if you can see them in this truck, but they're 2 Ziploc bags full of straps and stuff. And I bring a hammer, a few hand wrenches, and GV ties. You never know when something's flapping in the wind, whatever, you want to tie it down. I got some long GV ties here. They can be put together. They form a much longer one if needed, or cut off at any length. And a set of sockets, small stuff, you know. Sometimes a big old impact wrench can't get in a small, tight space. So it's good to have a little set of small sockets. And I also bring jumper cables. And that's too much as help me, help anybody else, whatever. Jumper cables are always a good idea to put in your truck. And I also carry, I'm not trying to be too overly prepared, but I also carry a little small jump box. Now the reason I carry a jump box, a battery jump box, let's just say I go out, take the boat out to the sandbar, and we cut the boat off, and then we sit there and we run the music all day, and for some reason your batteries might be 3 or 4 years old, and you go to crank it up and it don't crank. Hey, you got a problem. Even if there are other boats there, would they have jumper cables? Maybe not. Plus, jumper cables are way more bulky than this little small jump box I got. But the good thing about it is, with jumper cables, you have to rely on somebody else to get you cranked. But a jump box, you don't. So if you're the last boat leaving, you're still in good shape, and you don't have to call boat US or towboat or whatever. You don't have to call them, wait an hour and a half, 2 hours for them to get there. You can just put that back there and put it on your battery and crank it right up. So that's always, to me, that's a great thing to have. So the point of this video is just being prepared. I brought this from the shop a while ago when I came from the boathouse, and I'm gonna put that in the truck. Make sure I got that so that I can secure the trailer when I unhook it. But anyway, stay safe out there, and I hope this little tutorial I did here on how to prepare yourself to pull a boat. Actually, we're going to be pulling it 1,800 miles. I hope it's been helpful to you. And if there's a few things you might have left off your list, maybe the video has helped you add it back to it. And also, I'm sure I haven't thought of everything. You never can think of everything, but leave me a comment down below. Let me know what I left off and what you think is something important that I should have had on the list. Until next time, I appreciate you watching. Take care. I'll see you later.